Hi, this is Hanna Bier, author of Wealth from Within and money coach at MoneyBliss. And on my episode of the Business Growth Architect Show, I'm going to share with you how you and your family become wildly successful and abundant with money through a very special exercise I'm going to be leading you through live on the show so you can instantly shift your finances for the rest of your life.
And hello, fabulous person. Beate Gillette here. I am the host of the Business Growth Architect Show, and I want to welcome you to today's episode where we discuss how to navigate strategy and spirituality to achieve time and financial freedom. Truly successful people have learned how to master both, a clear intention and a strategy to execute that in a spiritual practice that will help them to stay in alignment and on purpose. Please enjoy the show and listen to what our guest today has to say about this very topic. Welcome back, Beate Gillette here from The Growth Architect, and I have an interesting topic today. I'm talking to Hanna Bier around dynamics around money as it involves our family dynamics. And how many times have we heard the things that our parents say, money doesn't grow on trees, or who do you think you are to deserve that? And so we're going to dive in today around not just these old things that have been said to you and how to erase them, but also around how to even understand where your money mindset come from and what can you do about it. Hanna, I'm excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Excellent. Hanna, for somebody who's not familiar with your work or with what you do, will you tell them who you are and what problem do you solve for your clients?
Yes, I'm a money coach and energy healer. I help ambitious women release their resistance to receiving money, to making really great income, being really profitable in their creative businesses. I'm also an author. I wrote a book called Wealth from Within. And when I'm not working my variety of magic, I'm baking. Today it was banana bread muffins, and I'm spending time with my young daughter.
Excellent. I did have your book until it burned, so I do not have it anymore. My entire business book collection in my office is everything's gone. Let's talk about what does a money coach do? So you said you help people to understand their mindset around money. We've talked about money mindset before, but you are very specific about how this surrounds families. Give us a framework that we can get our head around what that means.
Yeah, before I was a money coach, my specialty was emotional healing, trauma resolution, especially around our family of origin. Many of my clients came to me who had been, who had done decades worth of therapy. Many of my clients were therapists and mental health professionals themselves, and it still felt like they were walking around with this really dark cloud. So before I moved into money coaching, that was everything that I did all day long. And as a side effect of the work that we're doing, my clients started having all of these amazing money miracles show up where suddenly they felt really confident. They felt like they could move forward in their businesses. They felt like it was really easy for them to be seen. Money showed up out of nowhere. Insurances started paying. Clients started signing up again. The spouse got a promotion. The parents finally started being more organized with their finances. And so that's how I started shifting into money coaching, because so many of my clients requested to really work on the money piece. What makes my work different is that I'm a family constellation therapist. So I really take your family of origin into consideration. All of us know that our biggest issues come from our family of origin, but most of us don't know how to work with that. So we try to meditate away our confidence issues, or we try to read all the financial planners, and we try to invest and send out resumes. We seemingly do all the right things. And yet for many of us, it still feels like money is this elusive, terrifying, really confusing topic that we can't ever really figure out. And so in my own relationship with money, until I started to understand how my family history impacted my finances, I felt just as confused. And then through bringing the family piece in, I started to connect some dots, and I was able to make some forward progress.
I find this absolutely fascinating. So let's talk about family dynamics. In a previous show, I had shared that my earliest money memory was getting caught stealing 25 cents out of my mother's wallet because I wanted to buy candy after church because all the other kids were buying candy after church and I couldn't because I didn't have allowance.
And the result of it was two very different responses. My mother, of course, immediately wanted to send me back to church to confess my sins and do penance. And my father simply said, "Oh, I guess it's time for allowance." So that, that they'll learn how to manage money. So talk to me sort of how this example relates to family dynamics, or what are some of these aspects of family dynamics around money?
Yeah, one of the core things to understand is that the way that your money flows today directly correlates with how love flowed between you and mom and dad when you were little, or between you and your main caregivers when you were little. So, for example, if you were little and it always felt like money, like love was scarce, like you can never get enough love, even though your parents tried their best and they tried to parent in the best way that they know how, and maybe they had limited capacity, both emotionally or time wise, to really take care of you. If your felt sense at the time was, I can never get enough, like I always have this hunger for more. Many of my clients later on also experience the same in their relationship with money, where they're always wanting, always craving, and they can never fully get there. So it's this feeling of never enough, perpetually never enough. I have some clients who make great money. They make 30, 40, 50K a month, and they have nothing left at the end of the day. It's almost like, yeah, it's like the money just vanishes. Like the math doesn't even make sense. And those clients often come to me and they'll say, Hannah, what is going on? Like, am I cursed? Like, is there a poltergeist? It's just, it makes no sense at all. And so the other camp that I work with are people who did receive a lot of love from their parents, but it was very volatile. You know, where sometimes you received love and guidance and sometimes not, or you had to be the good little girl, good little boy. You had to really behave well in order to receive money. For those clients later on, it often feels like they either have to perform or betray themselves to make money. So it's never really worth it. So money always comes at a significant pain, or they're on this constant emotional roller coaster. Those clients as well were like, making money is no problem, but I always have these really traumatic, tragic things happening where I make a lot, I lose a lot. I make a lot, I lose a lot. And they're on the same camp as the first group of clients where they don't really have anything at the end of the day. And so, from my perspective, what's more important than what your parents said specifically about money is your perception of how easy it is to receive love in the world, because that shapes how you then create money in your life later on. So when you were little, your parents were supposed to be your main source of love and care. As you grow up, you replace that love and care with money. You use money to buy nutritious food. You use money to have a comfortable home. You use money to travel across the country, to go to your best friend's wedding. You use money to buy medical things that your insurance doesn't cover. So we use money to love ourselves. And so if we don't have this internal capacity to receive and have and enjoy a lot of money, there will always be this like longing, this aching inside of us.
I like this a lot, that you are putting this in relationship to how much love we have received. Because in my own history, I look at that love was very volatile because I have a mentally unstable mother and experienced a fair amount of childhood abuse. My father was absent a lot. So when he came, there was a lot of love, but for short periods of time because he ran away. And with my mother, it was just never safe. Like I had to be always watchful about this. So no wonder that the money kind of has its own dynamic. Like sometimes it goes amazing, and then there is these dry spells. So now, if you explain it to me like that, I think it makes a lot of sense to say it's almost like whatever thought takes over, or whatever primary emotion takes over, or whatever mental state I might be in, kind of like directs where I am. So for somebody now who's listening to this and says, Hannah, here's the truth. I'm working really hard. I'm doing everything that I can possibly do. I went to school, I got the degree, I did the leap, I'm running my own business, but I'm constantly in this roller coaster. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. What are we going to tell them? Like, how do we tell them to solve this issue of, because they're meditating, they're doing the mantras on money. I'm abundant. I am deserving. I love myself. So they're doing all of that, but the money is still not flowing. Where is it buried the thing that needs to be solved?
Yes. So you can think of the family constellation therapy work as preparing the soil of your abundance garden. So everything that you're growing and building and all the like seeds you're planting, all the pruning that you're doing and the watering and everything that you're doing, it's so much work to grow a garden and you're probably doing all the right things to grow the garden. And if the soil is nutritious and the soil is really dry and the soil is just not in a good condition, you can work so hard and you will just not get the harvest that you want. And it's frustrating. And I know we always think it's us, and then we question our intelligence and whether we're really as capable as we are. And did we really deserve all the success that we've had thus far? And should we keep going with everything that we've been working on? But the place that I always recommend we start is we really bring your family of origin into order and we resolve the biggest dysfunctional dynamics in your family of origin, which really opens up your capacity to receive love and to receive success and to have money. Like this, most of us have a really complicated relationship with money where our body does all sorts of things around money. For me, it was always anytime that I got money from the ATM, it felt like somebody punched me in the gut. Like I just wanted to throw up. Or it often felt like there's no point in even planning for the future because like the rug could be pulled out from underneath my feet at any moment because I felt so unsupported by my family of origin. Once we bring all of those things into order, all the things that you're doing will become a lot more fruitful. Now when my clients say, oh, I'm going to do a subliminal or I'm going to do a meditation or I'm going to launch a new offer, it's all really successful right away because the soil is nutritious. And so it's like the elephant hiding in plain sight. It's like the elephant in the room. We're working on everything but the stuff that truly matters, and that is our family of origin.
How do I do that? So I now know that there's an issue. And so I come to someone like you. So give us like an example so that we can bring this to life for someone to say, okay, if I want to do this, this is what it would look like.
Yeah, we could even do it together in just
All
just
right, let's
five
do it.
minutes. So I can
Yeah.
show you guys what your family order currently looks like. That's the place that I always start with all clients. And we can bring some order into your family of origin, and then we're going to see what we can shift with your money. It's very simple.
I
It's
love that. Let's
fast.
do it. Yeah. I mean, I literally just lost everything. So I think opening the flow of money back in is a good thing.
Amazing. Let's do it. So anybody who's driving, you can totally do this with your eyes open, but then go back to the recording at a later time and just re-listen to this episode so you can do it properly and take notes. But
Excellent.
everybody else, close your eyes.
All right, let's do it.
And
Takes
everybody
the
who's not a
glasses off and close our
meditator,
eyes. All right, we're in it. Let's do it.
perfect. And all the people who aren't meditators and a little bit ADHD, you can do this. This is so simple. Just picture a room. There you go. And then picture yourself walk into the room, stand in the center of the room, and then have your biological mom walk into the room and find a place to stand, and your biological dad as well. It's okay if you don't know them. It's okay if they are deceased. It's okay if they're institutionalized or incarcerated. It's okay if you are in no contact with them. It's also okay if you have been adopted. If you've been adopted, also have your adoptive parents walk into the room and find a place to stand. Okay.
All right. So, do you want me to share this with you, or are we waiting until you've taken me through the whole exercise?
Let me ask you one more question. Just look at the room, see where everybody's standing, and tell me what the vibe is.
The vibe is they definitely have nothing to do with each other. My dad is a little bit more warm. My mother is somewhere in an outer corner, facing away, barely visible, out of sight almost. And my dad's like sitting in this comfy chair with a reading light and a book, and he's very present, very close.
Okay, lovely. And then have your siblings walk into the room as well. Only your biological full siblings for now.
Yes, I have a sister and I have a brother, and my sister is like standing right there with me. My brother, yeah, I don't even know where my brother is actually. My brother is kind of elusive in this moment. He's present, but he's not really there.
Perfect. That's very insightful. You're doing so well. Then look around the room and see which part of the room represents the future. And so
The
everybody
future is
following
the
along.
future is behind me, actually, interestingly enough.
Yep.
Like
Feel
I'm
that.
facing into the room and the future is behind me.
Lovely. Okay, great. For anybody following along who's like, what do you mean the future? Many people feel that there is an open wall. Many people feel that there is an open space. Many people feel that there is a painting or a window or a door. So for Beate, it was behind her. She instantly had this knowing of where the future is. And so if you need a little longer, that's okay. Just look around and just your first instinct of what might be the future. It's just perfectly. And then turn around so that you're facing the future. And then if you're really, really, really close to the future and you can't even really see it, you might want to create some space. So in that case, you can take a couple of steps back and just kind of find the right place, the place where your body starts to relax, where there's this really effortless click, where it just feels right. And then tell me, Beate, when you have it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is the visual that I see is just a very bright, warm light, and it's just glowing. I can't really make out anything. It's just a beautiful, it's in stark contrast to what's behind me now that I turned around. Whereas before the room was kind of dark and gloomy, with the exception of my dad in the chair and my sister next to me. But now as I turn around, I see this, this light and this really inviting, but it feels very unknowing to me. Like I can't make anything out. It's just light.
Yeah, I love it. Probably symbolizes unlimited possibility.
I could handle a lot of unlimited possibilities. It's been just such a challenge with losing everything. This is like I've been thinking about, what is the future? And you can't even figure out what the heck the future is because you don't know what the future is because your entire past just burned. But let's continue.
Okay, so for everybody following along, just a reminder that we're working with the souls of your family members. So if you've experienced some trauma with family members, again, if anybody is deceased, if there are people who you don't actually really know or don't feel comfortable being in the same room with in real life, that's okay. We're working with the purest soul parts of them, the most loving parts of them, the version that they were if the trauma hadn't happened to them, if the hard things hadn't happened to them. So, okay, so now we're gonna have your mom walk up to you and stand behind your left shoulder, also facing the future. And depending on your relationship and your history with her, you might want to draw a red circle on the ground, a little boundary so that you can receive the good that your mom can give you. The most important thing is that through your mom, you receive the gift of life, the greatest gift anybody could have given you. In a way, you will always be indebted to your mom for it. And we also want you to receive all the good that your mom can give you. All the ways that you are like her, would like to be like her, all the positive. So the boundary allows you to receive all the good and bond with your mom in all the positive ways, and it keeps out all the negatives. So you can just leave that. So draw the boundary, kind of create some more space between you and her if that feels good. And we're going to do the same with your dad. So your dad is going to walk up, stand behind your right shoulder. Draw a boundary so you can receive the good, leave the rest. Create some space until there's a click and it feels right. If you have been missing out on one of your parents, where one parent was absent, one parent died really early, if you kind of missed out on some dad love or some mom love, just kind of face them a little more with your back. And then lean back a little bit into them and just allow all the love and all the life force energy that you should have always had flow into you. If you've got any body aches and pains, any serious medical issues that nobody seems to have an answer for, allow light to flow into that part of you. And lean back into both parents. Allow the soul parts of them, the purest parts of them, the most loving parts of them, the totally safe parts of them to fill you in with all the positive that they can bring you. Trust that the boundary keeps everything else away. And in the field in family constellation therapy, everything always balances out. So any not so wise choices that we make, we always have to kind of clean it up ourselves. So trust that your parents will kind of have to right their wrongs in their own way at some point. You don't have to hold grudges. You don't have to bring anything to justice. Your only job is to receive all the good, all the support, all the love, all the life force energy you always should have had. And then picture behind your parents rows and rows and rows of ancestors and all their love and all their care for you. And so the job that you have as the younger generation is to do life a little better and a little differently than them. So the way that you're honoring them is by taking excellent care of yourself, by choosing a great career, making great money, keeping an even greater profit, allowing your wealth to grow. All right. You still have to do your sibling. Almost there. Okay. Just to fill in, this little riddle. All right. So your older sibling gets to be to your left. Your younger sibling gets to be to your right. Have your older sibling take a slight step forward and your younger sibling a slight step back. If you're the middle child, this means that you're the middle of a diagonal line. If you're the eldest, it means that you're a little bit further away from your parents. If you're the youngest, it means that you get to be a little closer. So the eldest gets to pave the way and the youngest gets to follow a little bit. And so think about, if you're the youngest or if you're the middle, think about your older siblings and all the good that they can offer you and all the footsteps that you can walk. Perfect. All right, so you're in the right order now. You're in the right role. There's space for you to be you. You don't have to be mom. You don't have to be dad. You don't have to carry your entire family. You don't have to fix big family dynamics and patterns that have been going on for generations. Your only job is to be in the right role for you, is to play your role of child, your role of daughter, your role of youngest, oldest, middle sibling, and then look ahead into the future. And so many start this visualization facing the wrong way, sitting down, lying down, taking care of another family member, and so they kind of have no space to thrive and build anything. But now that you're freely facing the future, you can put things in front of you. You can put your kids in front of you, your career, your projects, big life goals in front of you. You can use all the life force energy you're receiving from your family of origin to really make it happen, to bring it to fruition. It's like the tank of your car is full and you can go. And there is nothing in your family, there's nothing for you to do. You've been absolved of any burdens that you've been carrying. And you've got all the support from your family, knowing that the souls of your parents and your family want nothing more than for you to thrive. The best parts of them want you to be happy, want you to be wealthy, and want you to do life better and differently than them. So you've got this full encouragement. And now look into your future and just allow your intuition to tell you what it is to focus on, what it is to build. And then curl your lips into a smile, blink your eyes open. How was that, Beate?
Oh my God, that was amazing. I loved the idea of creating the boundary and saying, I accept the good and I do not want the craziness. And to put things where they belong in the family, as the middle child, but I was always the trailblazer. So I think getting the family constellation in a classic model where it should be felt very comforting to me. So yeah, that was amazing. So the strategy here is, right, because we always talk about the spiritual aspect and we talk about the strategic implementation. And I'm just going to ask the question point blank. So if somebody is having issues with money, it has something to do with that things are not where they should be in their mental picture, in their dynamic, in their energetic vibration. Give me a couple pointers around that on how somebody can use this for business. How do I invite money, prosperity, success, whatever that means for me, into my business using your strategies?
Yeah, so family constellation therapy really clears our soul path. So many of my clients come to me and they've chosen to go to university to study something in order to subconsciously honor their dad. And then they've chosen to not be confident in order to bond like their mom. And so all this, like all the cobwebs from the family system muddle the whole picture. So they take actions here that are unfruitful, there that are unfruitful. They don't even have a clear enough picture of what they want. And then once we've cleared up the family dynamics, my clients are often really clear where they say, oh, I just need to sell 4 of this offer in order to make this money this month. And then I'm going to, keep 50% of it and the rest goes toward taxes and expenses and my personal income. And I'm going to invest this money and let it grow. And so once these hidden entanglements are gone, our perfect path with money becomes so obvious. And my clients can easily tell me and implement it right away. And so for the listeners who participated in this, really go back into the visualization and think, what is the fastest, most effective, most elegant path to make a lovely, great income and to keep a ton of profit? And so it's the 80-20 rule, right? It's probably not the cluttered actions that you've been taking where you don't even really know why you're doing them. It's probably the 20% and have been getting you a lot of money all along. And so my hope is that the family constellation piece will free you up to do the thing that has been proven to be most effective all along. Because
I
if
love that. It's so simple, and it's so simple. We've talked about this on the show too. Sometimes people get so caught up in the internet marketing world and the thousands of customers. Who wants thousands of customers? I mean, if we're really honest about it, focus on the next 10, focus on the next 20. If you have 20 good clients that are paying you $5,000 a pop, you're going to be in okay shape, to take that then to the next step and the next step. And then you focus on the 20 clients that give you $10,000 and then on the 20 clients that give you $100,000. So we really want to go the easiest way, not in the most complicated. Let's do all these crazy things. Let's focus on what we can do today to bring the next client in with the first whatever couple $1,000, and then where's the next one, just to get the cash flow going. So I love that. The simplicity is good, and I like your idea of saying we don't need to go into therapy for years here. We're just putting things where they belong, and we're using visualization, mindset, and also mind control. Because talk to me about, is it difficult for most people that you work with to let some of these old things go? Because there's a lot of people, or there are people that sometimes have difficulties releasing things because it is the story that they're telling themselves. How do you deal with that when it comes to your work and money?
Yeah, I love that family constellation therapy works in the morphic field of your family system. So the morphic field is like the family soul. It's the energetic field that wraps around the family and connects all members of your family on a soul level. It's actually well researched in biology. Biologists call so the morphic field is what informs a flock of birds to fly in a V formation, for example. Like the birds could fly in any direction, they choose to fly in a V formation. And even if a little bird falls out of the nest, the bird still knows how to migrate. Like they still know where to go. Butterflies, when they migrate south, they still have a very specific journey that they take. And it's just so amazing how it's wired into a family of animals. And so it's the same with human beings. Family constellation therapy goes so much deeper than our thoughts, goes so much deeper than our subconscious mind. It goes so much deeper than all the messages that we've been hearing, all the noise about money, all the negative imprints. And it rewires us at such a deep level that it's almost like the other stuff becomes really easy to shift up for some time. If you've got a really deep wiring of, I always have an overflow of love. Everywhere I go, all the resources I need, I receive them easily. People are lining up to work with me. People love me as soon as they connect with me. My clients stay and tell everybody about me and they sign up over and over. People love giving me money. I love seeing my money grow. I sleep soundly at night. I have so much money always. I'm a great money maker, regardless of what's going on in the economy. There are always people who are excited to work with me. I'm excellently taken care of in every way. If that is your deepest level, it overrides anything. Like You don't have to be doing years of mindset work because you're so deeply wired. Think about an example of, maybe a kid that you remember from school who grew up being really successful, even though they're probably not as intelligent as you are, but maybe also not as much of a hard worker as you are. But they have this really deep wiring of worthiness and deservedness around love, around well-being, around safety, around significance. All those like softer qualities that we're trying to make happen with the use of money. And so imagine you're so deeply wired like that person. We could put you in any business, in any profession, in any situation, you'd be thriving financially. I think sometimes it's so tedious to chip away at the mindset stuff when we could just work on a much deeper level and get it done much faster.
This is so amazing. Well, Hannah, for somebody who now has listened to this episode and goes, I think this is something that I want to do, and they would like to learn more about your work or your work with you, where should we send them?
My website is hannabier.com. That's HANNABIER.com. You can find more about my private coaching options, my best-selling program, MoneyBliss. You can book a strategy call with me so we can get to know each other, and you can always connect with me on Instagram as well at Hanna MoneyBliss.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It's been amazing to have you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing what you know and giving us an example of what this looks like, life in action. It was certainly powerful for me, and I'm sure our audience got lots to think about on maybe it is not as complicated as they thought it is to remove these money obstacles.
It doesn't have to take a long time.
All right. Thank you so much. And with that, we say goodbye. Until next time, I see you later.
So appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for listening to the entire episode. Please subscribe to the podcast, give us a 5-star review, a comment, and share this episode with one more person so that you can help us help more people. Thank you again. Until next time. Goodbye.